Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We should start at this time at 5 p.m., which is Italy time, of course, 5 p.m. Italy time, but I would like to wait for another few minutes to see if someone else would like to come into this very particular Facebook Direct. So let's wait for a few minutes. In the meantime, if there is someone already connected, can you please send me a signal or write me something? That way I know that somebody's connected, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to wait an extra 2 or 3 minutes maximum, and we will start this, let's say, seminar. Just adjusting computer. Okay, 2 minutes have passed, and I guess that it will be a good idea to start now. And who will join in later. Well, allow me to present myself. My name is Gian Carlo Zazzeri, and I live in Italy, in Tuscany, and I am a holistic counselor, shaman, and metaphysicist. Metaphysicist related to the years of experience that I have in the holistic environment, okay? And metaphysicist even due to my years of experience in my holistic research, where I've always tried to combine the scientific way of seeing things together with the holistic and spiritual way of seeing things. Anyway, what are we going to talk about in this lecture? And what type of experience will we live? Well, we're going to talk about out-of-body experience and the astral projection of the consciousness. And thereafter, we're going to talk about, let's say, the parallel dimensions of the consciousness and get to know partially what this means and what potential we can obtain through the knowledge of us being multidimensional on an unconscious level. Okay, I'm going to talk about my various experiences, okay, of out-of-body experience, what it truly means, and what really occurs when you go out of your body and when you come back as well, and the difference between the out-of-body experience and the astral projection of the consciousness through the mind, which is a very, very lighter experience that just gives you a glimpse of what you can encounter and what you may experience in an out-of-body experience, which is more like a full immersion experience where you can really feel it with your senses, okay? And then let's talk about, yes, and then the parallel dimensions of the consciousness, where on an unconscious level, yes, we are a portal. We are a multidimensional portal towards infinite possibilities, parallel universes where there is a copy of ourselves living his or her own life, and how to tap into this aspect of ourselves, how to communicate with the best version of ourselves and bring down or download on genetical level the necessary information according to what we want to reach or attract in our lives. But now let's talk about the first step, okay? Out of body experience, OBE. Well, throughout my experience as a practitioner and as a teacher, I've encountered many people, okay, in the holistic environment that have said that they can easily come out of their body, easily go into the astral realm and journey. I've noticed many people during my meditative sessions that when they have come back, they have always shared themselves coming out of their body, but in a very excited way, as if, wow, nothing has ever happened, for an example. Okay, yes, something has happened, something even important, but we have to understand what out-of-body experience really means and the difference between out-of-body experience and astral projection of the consciousness. To reach a level of out-of-body experience, you need lots of practice. It's a question of understanding the various functions of our brainwave as well. Our brainwave works on 4 levels, okay? We have the beta brainwave. When the brainwave works on the beta wave function, okay? And the beta level is when we are very active, we are stressed, we are at work, and we are doing things, we have to think of so many things, and this is the beta brainwave, okay? And then when we start relaxing our mind, when work finishes, we're driving back home, or we're going out with friends, we are just chilling, for an example, this is the alpha wave state, okay? But then beyond the alpha wave state, going deeper and deeper, we reach the theta state, which is the typical state of meditation and hypnosis, okay? In the theta brainwave state, in the theta state, it is very easy if you are very active with your third eye to imagine things and to see things, to obtain an experience called the astral projection of the consciousness, okay? Or let's betterly say the mental projection of the consciousness on astral level. And with this type of experience, yes, you see things. You may get to encounter even certain circumstances, okay? You may get to encounter even beings, for an example. You may even get a glimpse of different levels of reality, obtain information as well. But it is only a partial experience of what the out-of-body experience is all about, okay? And why? Because when you come back from the astral projection of the consciousness, well, you come back quite easily. And you're quite active physically, okay? And you're quite lucid to explain everything. But when you come back from an out-of-body experience, yes, it is quite different. You feel physically different. It's a bit traumatic as well for the first time if you're not used to it, because an out-of-body experience is the equivalent of a near-to-death experience. How would a person feel when that person comes out of a coma, for an example? So when you come out of an out-of-body experience, you need time to recuperate. You need time to regain yourself. Your body is very cold. You're shivering. You have even palpitations, and you need to catch some breath, and then a nice hot glass of water, for an example, to help you to come back. So you need quite a while. That's why I can see the clear difference between one who has a real out-of-body experience where he really needs his time or her time to come back, and one who has had an astral projection of the consciousness. And maybe not many understand the difference, but they think that they have had an out-of-body experience, but it's not that easy, honestly. To get to that level, you need lots of training. You need practice. It's like training a muscle. And if you stop training yourself, of course, you can lose it. So you have to get back to that modality again of training yourself. And why? Let's say that years ago, I've been experimenting on myself, how to reach the level of out-of-body experience, okay? And I was going into theta state. I was listening to the white noise, and the white noise is the equivalent of the sound of nature. For example, the sound of the ocean, that is a white noise that really calms down the brain activities of the mind. It facilitates the brain to go deeply into theta state and beyond, okay? Well, when you go onto astral level, or when you go to an out-of-body experience, when you go towards an out-of-body experience, you're going beyond theta level, okay? You're going below the theta level. Your brainwaves are furtherly lowering down. It's going beyond the meditative and hypnotical state. And you're going towards delta level, okay? So from beta, you go to alpha, you go to theta, and then you go towards the delta level, which is the level where many people remain when they are in coma, okay? It is, let's say, the near-to-death state of being, the delta level. But when you go to when you go to provoke yourself into an out-of-body experience, you go below theta level, and you are practically, let's say, just touching the surface of the delta level. It's like touching the surface of a very deep, mysterious, unknown ocean. But you train yourself to maintain yourself on that level without falling asleep. And usually this level is reached when we are in the REM phase of our sleep, okay? In the REM phase. When we fall asleep and we go into REM phase, we dream, we are touching this level, and many of us don't notice it, okay? But yes, I trained myself to reach this level let's say consciously, okay? And it took lots of time. And I was in my study, I was listening to that white noise, and over and over again, for weeks, I kept on falling asleep. Going beyond theta, I kept on falling asleep. No result. Until, through my persistence, through, what can I say, the will to really get there, bang, one night it happened. I was just there on that subtle line, okay? That subtle line just before plunging into delta state, that point of no return, or very difficult to return, that subtle line. And what did I experience? First, I experienced my body that became a very, 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 let's say, heavy container. It was like a very, very heavy container indeed. I had no control on my body at all. It was just there like a heavy statue. Bang! And I was just there, laying down as if I was trapped inside this very heavy statue made of marble. But why all this weight? Because when you are on this level of existence, on this state of existence where you are just touching the surface of the delta state, or when you are, let's say, living consciously that REM phase, okay, which is, let's say, touching the surface of the delta state, okay? Well, your senses are, let's say, your senses operate on another level, operates totally on energy level, on quantum level, okay? So that weight, feeling trapped in this heavy body, is gravity. You can feel the weights of the cells. You can feel the gravity of the subatomic particles that composes, that makes your body the way it is, okay? And then another thing that happened, my eyelids became transparent, okay? So I was seeing through my eyelids. I was observing through my eyelids, and I thought, that is very, very interesting. Now, one important thing to understand when you experience an OBE is that you should never, ever be afraid, okay? Because there are many people who are sensitive who can even easily reach this state without knowing it. They are unaware. During their sleep phase, bang, they are trapped in their body. The body is like a heavy container, like a heavy statue. They can't move inside their body. They are inside their body trying to move. And the eyelids become transparent, and they think that is some sort of spiritual attack. But it is, let's say, the initial phase of an out-of-body experience. And many people get freaked out on that phase. They try to shout, and they feel that their voice is underwater, for an example. And when they freak out, they just wake up, and yes, they have shivers, and wow, yes, and they freak out, practically, okay? But we should understand how to control our emotions when we live an experience like this. We have to stay very neutral. And what helps is meditative exercises to stay neutral, to clear out our emotional spaces, okay? And to put ourselves into a state of observing in a neutral way. Now you are observing the situation, you are living the situation, you're observing, you're not frightened, and you are finding it very interesting. Okay, this is the key, because we are studying. There is nothing to fear in reality, okay? Because fear is an energy frequency generated from our unconscious that then, let's say, conditions our mindset to then project, what can I say, certain things related to our fear. Okay, so we have to stay very neutral. So be the observer of the situation. And this is what I learned to do. And I thought, very interesting. Eyelids are transparent even if they're closed. And I thought, okay, now let's really try to move myself. Let's see what happens if I really try to get up. Of course, my body wasn't responding anymore. I had no more control on my nervous system. But I tried to get up. I tried to get up. And it was such a big effort the first time because I felt the gravitational pull of my body pulling me back. And it was like, let's say, a butterfly coming out of a cocoon, you know. And I was slowly, slowly separating myself from my body, feeling my body trying to pull me back like glue. And suddenly I was out. Bang, I was out. And I thought, that's very interesting. The first step, a great step for mankind, I thought, okay. I felt like an astronaut walking on the moon for the first time. And then I started to roam around the room where I was. But I didn't want to go further on. So suddenly I decided to come back into my body again. And that was the first experience. But once I reached that level of experience and I reached the know-how and I trained my mind to stay on that level, it all came out automatically through my willpower. Automatically, I desire when I put my intent to have an out-of-body experience, it all came naturally, day after day, night after night. Anyway, the second night I tried it and I wanted to go further on. This time, it was a very, very particular experiment. And that was a type of experiment that would have freaked out anyone, okay? But you know, when you reach a certain level of mental training, you're prepared even to see very, very strange phenomena, okay? Understanding that it's all the projection of your unconscious that is mirroring what you should understand within yourself, because that's the astral realm. It is a great infinite ocean of thoughts, and it acts like a mirror. It reacts like a mirror according to your emotions. Okay, that's why when you go into this level, you have to learn to be very neutral and to keep your vibrational frequency high. You should feel joyful. You should feel like a researcher. You should feel like a pioneer because you are pioneering the unknown, okay? You are pioneering the deep reaches of your soul. And the astral realm is the mirror that mirrors this level of existence of yourself, okay? Anyway, the second night I tried it again and it was far more easier. I reached that level of feeling the body as a container again, and I was quite enthusiastic this time. And the eyebrows became transparent and it was far more easier for me to come out of the body. But this time I was doing it in front of a mirror. I put the mirror in front of the armchair while I was trying it in my studio because I really wanted to see if it was true, if it wasn't the power of suggestion, okay? So I was just there, my eyes were closing, and suddenly I was in that state and I started to see my eyebrows becoming transparent, and I saw myself on the chair in the mirror. And I thought, this is already quite interesting. And I said, why not try to come out of my body this time and see what I see in front of the mirror? Mirrors are very particular, okay? Because mirrors in reality don't only show the reflex of our physical world. Behind the mirror, behind the function of the mirror, there is the reflex of the astral realm, the reflex of, let's say, the quantum reality, okay, which we even call astral realm, okay? We can call it the astral realm, we can call it even the quantum realm, okay? And I thought, okay, let's see if the mirror can capture what's happening. And when I started to come out of my body, surprise, 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 that's the freaking out part. I saw myself dividing myself from my physical body. It was as if I really saw myself stepping out of my body, but I had the exact aspect of my physical body. Okay, why? Let me explain. We have our physical body, we have our emotional body, we have our astral body, we have the soul, And then we have the pure light of the Spirit that I like to call divine singularity. When you step out of your physical body in astral form, the astral form is like a memory grid, okay, that, let's say, conserves the aspect of your physical body for some time. Why? And this memory grid is called, let's say, the emotional body. The emotional body is related to the function of our subconscious and conditions our subconscious. And our subconscious, through our emotional body, then programs our mind, conditions our mindset, okay? Programs and changes, let's say, our synaptical system, where then we are convinced to see ourselves in a certain way. We are convinced to be in a certain way. We are convinced to be in a certain way, even according to society. And this is the matrix, okay? This is the illusion generated by the emotional body. That's why that when we meditate, we have to initially work on the emotional body to go beyond the false illusions and false beliefs of our emotional body that then conditions our subconscious to get into contact with that authentic self of ours, which is the enlightened soul. Okay? Anyway, I saw myself doubling. Okay? Like same people dividing themselves from one body. And I thought, this is interesting, okay? That was the first thing that came to my mind. And then I started to look around, and I looked behind, and I clearly saw my body on that armchair, like this. And what did I think? This is even more interesting, okay? Then I decided to step out of the room. In those times, I had my study in a very old Rinascimental building in the north of Italy. Very beautiful indeed, with all Rinascimental paintings on the ceiling. And when I stepped out of that office, okay, when I stepped out of the office, there was this beautiful corridor with all these Rinascimental paintings, okay, but this time things seemed to appear differently. The colors were far more brilliant. Even the paintings, they were moving. The paintings were moving. Why? Because you can see the memory and the emotions of the artist that were left behind in those paintings. A Rinascimental artist that was the student of Michelangelo, because Michelangelo had his students that used to roam around Italy and Europe, and those paintings were made from a student of Michelangelo. And I saw these paintings alive. They were moving, like in the movie of Harry Potter. And I felt the emotions of the painter as well, his emotional imprint left behind in those paintings. And that was really amazing. I felt that the painter was really in peace with himself. He felt fulfilled, and he had secret knowledge as well. And he knew what he was doing. These paintings were secret codes of knowledge to understand what the universe was all about and to understand what creation was all about. Because the painters, the Rinascimental painters, yes, they had their own secret knowledge. They were Freemasons, okay? Anyway, I looked at these paintings, and they appeared far more brilliant, and the colors were far more brilliant. There were no shadows anywhere. It was multicolor everywhere. And I thought, this is a really amazing vision. And the vision was far more ample as well. And I thought, okay, let's step out of the room, but I don't want to open the door. I don't want to interact physically with this, with the physical reality. Let's see if I can go past the door like ghosts. And as soon as I touched the door didn't feel solid at all. It felt very subtle, like a cobweb. Even more subtle. I was touching a vibrational frequency. I was touching the quantum structure of the door. Very, very interesting indeed. Then I thought, okay, let's go beyond the door. And bang, I just suddenly walked through the door like a ghost. And I thought, that is very interesting, okay? And then I looked around, and instead of seeing the corridor as it usually appeared, because a corridor has its end, okay, with the door or wall or whatever, the paintings continued to move on the ceiling. And I looked at the corridor, and the corridor was just continuing to the infinite, continuing to the infinite, without an end, into the darkness. And it was a bit frightening initially. It looked quite strange, and I thought, wow, what is this all about? It's very similar if you put two parallel mirrors beside you, on the left side and the right side. And what do you see? Your image continuing to the infinite until you don't see your image anymore. But what is beyond that image? That's the mystery, okay? That's beyond the illusion. And then I faced the balcony, the terrace, and I saw the sky. I have never seen such a beautiful sky before. An entire universe that was opening up in front of my eyes. Stars, star systems, the Milky Way so clear, going beyond the atmospheric pollution, the colors of the nebulae. I could see all the universe opening up in front of my eyes. My eyes were seeing light distances of beauty and magnificence. And I thought, this is so amazing. You don't even see such thing in a movie. And while I was just there contemplating, I started to hear the sounds of a horse, a galloping sound coming from the infinite reaches of that, let's say, astral corridor. And I thought, something or someone is approaching me, a visitor. And let's wait and see what it's all about. And the hooves of this horse was getting closer and closer. It sounded like the thundering sound. It sounded like the thundering hooves of a battle horse, getting closer and closer, closer and closer, like thunder coming from the corridor. And then suddenly I saw this huge, massive black horse. And on top of that horse, I saw a Knights Templar, a Grand Master. I recognized it in a Grand Master because beyond the white robe, there is a black stripe under the white robe that distinguishes the Grand Master, okay, from the other Knights Templars. The Knights Templars were warrior monks. They were alchemists. They were metaphysicists. And they were custodians of a great mystery of on life, on spirituality, on the creation of the universe, of course. And they knew the secret origins of Christianity that the church wanted to hide. That's why they were eliminated in the end, okay? And I clearly recognized who was that Knights Templar. Back in those days, I knew a Jesuit priest, and his name was Father Jones. And I used to go to his seminars, and I used to see his campuses as well. And he was very passionate in Knights Templars, and he was a Templar. He used to travel around the world, and he used to travel especially in the Western world to gain knowledge from the Eastern world, to gain knowledge from the Eastern world, and he used to bring it into the Western world and to integrate the Eastern ways of spirituality with the Western ways of spirituality. In fact, he used to do the hasanas, he used to do yoga, he used to do, let's say, Eastern meditations, okay? He used to do breath work, and he used to even do astral journey very oftenly as well. He was a very, very powerful spiritual teacher, okay? A Jesuit priest, think about it, okay? I recognized him through his helmet because he had a long white beard with long white hair coming out of his helmet. And I thought, Father Jones, is that you? And he looked at me with his usual verve and he said, you recognized me then, boy. Yes, of course I recognized you. And he removed his helmet and he said, listen, you see this helmet? The helmet had a crown on it. Okay, it was a let's say, a classical cylindrical helmet that covered the face, and it had only the space to see through with the eyes. Okay, typical Templar Knight's helmet, but it had a crown on it. And he said, you see this helmet? Yes, this is yours. Keep it now. Okay, I would like you to keep it. I have to continue my journey right now, so I'll leave you from here now, okay? But remember, behave yourself wherever you're going to go, okay? And I said, okay, Father Jones, I'll behave myself. And then he just left and he continued galloping down the corridor and he just disappeared into the infinite. The helmet somehow just disappeared in sparks of light in front of my hands, and these sparks were integrated inside of me, okay? Because I have always had a very, very profound connection with the Knights Templars. You see the helmet right there behind, very similar to that helmet, but this one hasn't got a crown, okay, on it. Anyway, then I started to look at the sky again, and I wondered, there should be something more than this. It can't just stop here, the journey. And suddenly I looked at the sky, and what did I see? The stars coming towards me, coming down towards me, like falling stars, okay? A bit similar to the film of Jodie Foster, Contact, that final phase when she was leaving that strange planet and she was going into hyperspace and the stars were coming towards her. And yes, I was warping myself towards another dimension, because on this level, time and space has no sense. Time itself reacts like a physical reality and not like an intangible reality. And you can modify it and you can make it the way you want according to the willpower of your mind. You can just teleport yourself wherever you want to go. Time and space is just, let's say, isn't tangible anymore. Okay, it reacts to the willpower of your mind. Okay. And I thought, okay, I want to go right there to that star over there. And whoosh, I was traveling at an incredible speed. Let's not even call it speed. Let's call it, I don't know, Godspeed, the speed of the consciousness. Anyway, suddenly, bang, I saw this planet appearing right in front of me, and I was hovering over this planet. And this planet looked very similar to that city planet that was shown in the movie Star Wars, Coruscant. Has anyone seen the movie Star Wars, and has anyone seen that city planet called Coruscant? Yes, very, very similar, but much more good looking though, okay, because Coruscant is a dark place and it's got sewers and all that stuff, but this planet, this city planet, looked so beautiful. It was like a shining crystal in the middle of space. Towering buildings made of gold and crystal, and it irradiated some sort of rainbow aura to it. And I thought, wow, this is really an amazing place. Why not fly towards one of those buildings and see what's inside? And suddenly I plunged into that planet, and I was hovering above this huge, immense cityscape of golden and crystal towers, and suddenly I ended up in one of the buildings. The first thing that I saw was a very, 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 very long corridor with a very, very long red carpet. It was all made of gold and arches of crystal, and there were all astrological symbols and sacred geometrical symbols all around. And I thought, this is a very interesting place. And I started to walk down that corridor that seemed to be very long. And it was so long for my eyes. I thought that it would take me ages to arrive to the end. But then depending on my willpower to arrive to the end of the corridor, it was as if that time was accelerating, and suddenly, bang, I found myself teleported to the end of the corridor. And surprisingly, I saw a very, very simple, small desk made of wood, and a person sitting on that desk. Okay, sitting behind the desk that looked like a butler or a hotel receptionist. And he looked at me and he said, "What are you doing there?" There was a bell, by the way. "What are you doing there?" He was quite alarmed. "You shouldn't stay here. It's not the time for you to be here." And bang, he ringed the bell, and suddenly a back door opened, appeared from nowhere, and a very calming and peaceful being appeared. I knew that it was an angel guide, a guardian angel, right? And it was a lady. She looked at me, she caressed me on the face, and she said, "Gian Carlo, yeah, you know my name. Come with me." She took me by the hand. She was so loving. There was this huge sensation of peace. And she took me behind that door. I went behind that door with her, and suddenly there were all flickering lights all around, flickering lights. And suddenly, bang, I was back in my body. Now, when you come out of an experience like this, you don't just come out as if you're out of theta state and you say, "I have had an out-of-body experience," and you share it out, blah, 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 to everyone with all energy. No. When you come out of this experience, it's like an after-death experience, really. You take your time to feel your body. You feel so cold. You feel stone cold. And you still can't move your body. It's all numb. And you're starting to feel the blood circulation coming back again. Your body is totally numb, okay? And it's freezing cold, even if it's summer. Even if you have the heating on, it is freezing cold. You're shivering, you're having goosebumps, and your heart is palpitating. And you can even have cold sweat as well, okay? And a bit of nausea. Anyway, I was taking deep, deep breaths, slowly moving my fingers and slowly moving the toes of my feet, because this is how to go, right? You're taking deep breaths and you're slowly coming back. You're slowly coming back until I could open my eyes again. And I needed a hot glass of water. And yes, this was my second experience. And this is when I clearly understood that it was real. It was tangible. Yes, different realms exist, different dimensional realms exist, and they are real, they are tangible, okay? Anyway, let me go to the third experience, okay? And then after, I will explain the astral projection of the consciousness, and then we'll go to the parallel dimensions of the consciousness, okay? And thereafter, we're going to have a meditative experience, but with the astral projection of the consciousness in theta state. Don't think that you're going to go out of your body for an online experience. It doesn't work that way. You need training, you need patience, and then it happens, okay, after so many times of just falling asleep, okay? Anyway, my third experience, I questioned myself. Do aliens exist? Because yes, I always knew that aliens, extraterrestrials do exist, because since my childhood, I had this feeling, I had this sensation, I had connections, okay? I used to see things. I was born with the capability to see extra-dimensional realities overlapping onto our dimension. I had no control on it when I was a child, and then growing up and maturing, then I started to master it. Then I started to have control on it. This gift started to assess itself, and now it's as if I've got a switch inside my head. When I want to see, bang, the switch goes and I see. If I don't want to see, I don't see. I see like all other people, okay? But usually I use this gift when I do the reading of the aura, or when I go into the akashical fields of other people, where I start to see visions coming out and their connections with other dimensions. And because the aura is electromagnetism, it is the torus field, okay? And through the electromagnetical field of the aura, you see connections with other dimensions and how they interact with that person, because electromagnetism defies time and space, okay? It is out of time and space. The electrograviton is part of the group of tachyons that travel constantly from one dimension to another. They are in a constant state of warp, okay? And this is us on unconscious level. Anyway, let's go to the third experience. And I thought, I want to encounter them more in an intangible way. So I underwent the same process again, reaching that subtle level, okay, between theta and delta. And suddenly, what happened? Suddenly, I felt something coming towards me. I couldn't see anything. And I started to feel some sort of visitor pulling me out of my body, as if I was smoke coming out of my third eye. And as smoke, I was recomposing myself into different forms, into different personas that represented my past lives. I manifested myself from astral smoke into the form of a native Indian American. I was starting to chant Indian chants, okay? And I had feathers on my head, and I was doing this Indian dance. And suddenly, from there, I became a Japanese doing martial arts. And from there, a knight. And from there, something else. Until I assumed my actual persona in relation to this life. I knew that someone was studying my akashical records. Okay? And suddenly, I started to see something around me. But it was like seeing, let's say, the old negative of photographs. The images were very shadowy. I started to see figures of tall beings with long heads and a larger cranium. And suddenly, I was laying down on a bed and they were passing this sort of scanning machine on me, and I could see all my skeletal structure, my bone structure, sorry, skeletal is Italian. I could see all my bone structure and my heart beating. I could see all my nervous system, the blood flowing, and I could even see my astral body and the chakras and everything else. And I thought, this is amazing. And the tallest one was there keeping my hand, and he was looking at me with these huge but very beautiful eyes, as if that you could see all the universe in these eyes. And he was smiling and assuring me and making me understand on telepathical level, you're okay, it's fine here, you're safe with us, we are friends, we just want to get to know you somehow. You asked for us and we are here. And I thought, okay. Anyway, after the scanning process, this tall being, the tallest of all the beings, had this sort of box. And he gave it to me, okay? And he said, take this box, this is yours, keep it, take it, integrate it into your higher heart chakra, okay? Because the higher heart chakra is the temple of the soul and the spirit. Through the higher heart chakra, you have access to your akashic records, you have access to the deepest reaches of your subconscious, you have access to the origins of yourself, to the universe. And I thought, okay, that's amazing knowledge. So I took that box and I integrated it there. I knew that I could have trusted that guy, okay? And once this happened, bang, I was back into my body again, the usual shivers, and I needed a hot glass of water. But let's say the trauma got lesser and lesser and lesser, because the more you get used to it, the trauma gets lesser and lesser, okay? And I thought, what was that box? What was that knowledge all about? And I couldn't make anything out of it. Even if I wanted to force myself with my mind, and of course, when you force yourself with your mind, your ego plays up, okay? And you are in expectations and nothing occurs, you don't receive anything. So I just said, okay, let's just leave it the way it is, no expectations. I've got this thing, they've given me something, and let's just live my life calmly. Just don't think about it. Let's follow the flow and let's see what comes out of it, okay? A week passed by, 2 weeks passed by, a month passed by, okay? And in that moment, when I wasn't giving importance to that experience anymore, suddenly, bang, I felt inspired. And I had this handbook on me. And suddenly, I started to go into automatic writing. Because this is one of my gifts, channeling through automatic scripture as well. It's a bit that it's quite a while that I don't do it anymore. And suddenly, mathematical formulas started to come out. Unknown mathematical formulas, figures, inscriptions, and very scientific concepts, and diagrams and drawings on how the universe was created, how gravity works, and how to transform gravity into anti-gravity. And suddenly, a scheme of some sort of interstellar vehicle was coming out of all of this. And I was writing day and night for an entire month, pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff, until a scheme of this interdimensional vehicle came out that was capable of defying time and space, that was capable of ripping a hole in the very nature and structure of time and space, to warp it and to go from one parallel dimension to another in an instance. And it was very, very particular. It had a ring all around it, and that ring was some sort of gravitational accelerator, and I like to call it the hyperdimensional gravitar ring. And it created some sort of anti-gravitational bubble around the vehicle, like a protective bubble, to conserve, let's say, the paradigm of time and space inside the vehicle, to conserve the crew of the vehicle, okay, from any sort of unwanted side effect, okay, from, let's say, warping time and space from one parallel dimension to another, okay? And it had this type of shape. I'm just doing a very, very rough drawing, okay? Is my pen working? Oh, this is a really, really terrible drawing, okay? But, I have to be quick. This was the shape, okay? Can you see it? That's the front part, okay? That's the back part, and this was, and in the middle, the ring, okay? That creates that gravitational bubble all around. And yes, that was a third experience. And there are many more, but of course we don't have time, okay, to talk about all the rest. Anyway, this is what out-of-body experience is all about. It's very tangible. You can meet visitors. All the dimensional planes are realms. They are, and there are inhabitants in those realms, intelligent inhabitants, even creatures. You may encounter all sorts of things, but the most important thing is that the astral realm, which is, what can I say, that infinite warp ocean that connects you to all the other dimensional realms, okay? It is the interconnective, let's say, part of our reality, is the reflex mirror, is a reflection of who we are on unconscious level. So, we have to work on ourselves. We have to put ourselves into a state of peace. We have to go beyond fear, be neutral. And then it becomes very safe. And then it becomes a beautiful, magnificent, a fascinating experience. Okay? Anyway, let's go beyond to what astral projection is all about. Okay? And we're going to have this experience later. Astral projection is a very, 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 very lighter experience. Many people exchange the astral projection of the consciousness through the mind to an out-of-body experience, but it's not that way at all. It's easy for many through meditative exercises on theta state at the end to reach an astral projection of the consciousness. It's just a little glance. You are meditating, you're still in your body, you feel that you are still in your body, you're not going out of your body, it's not so tangible, but somehow you feel your consciousness expanding and reaching out towards some sort of other reality. You are capturing from your consciousness the energy waves, the gravity waves of that dimensional reality that is then being elaborated on emotional level in your unconscious part, where the emotional elaboration then is transmitted to your third eye. And when your third eye is opened, it becomes like a screen that permits you to have a glance of what you are capturing, okay, through the astral projection of your consciousness, or what you are capturing on emotional level, the type of gravity waves that are coming towards you from that dimensional realm. And your mind starts to envision. The power of your imagination operates on this level. Many artists, creative people operate on this level, okay? Even scientists that believe that there is something far beyond their classical research operate on that level. They know that there are other dimensions, and they are inspired from on that level of let's say, interaction, okay? So even our greatest inspirations comes from that level of interaction, because spirit guides, other intelligences can communicate information on this level, okay? On my childhood, I used to receive lots of communication on this level from my guides, okay, that used to create in the terms of sacred geometry. Symbols and sacred geometries used to come towards my third eye, one after another, boom, 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 boom. But I didn't know what it was all about until I grew up and I was processing what it was all about. And it's all, let's say, codes, key codes to, let's say, extra dimensional knowledge, okay? And these guides, they used to call themselves Arcturians. Anyway, this is old story. They're still there somehow, but this is old story. Anyway, and this is what the astral projection of the consciousness is all about. People who have their third eye opened, who can easily imagine, can easily, okay? Other people, okay, who can't have this type of experience, this visual experience on holographical level, because this is what I like to call also visual holographical level of experience. You are having a holographical 3D experience or interpretation of these energy frequencies that operate on a higher dimensional level, okay? This is what it's all about. People can feel as well. If you're clairsentient, you feel. And through your feelings in time, then you start to elaborate. It's a question of time, okay? Because the first effect is feeling. And then suddenly, bang, your imagination starts to come out, okay? Since that imagination that you had in your childhood, the pineal gland starts to interact through this type of interaction, and you have the vision, okay? Like Leonardo da Vinci, for an example. Anyway, or like Nikola Tesla. And then, okay, this is the astral projection of the consciousness. But now let's go into, let's say, a deeper level of understanding. Now let's go more into the quantum perspective. Seeing the subconscious mind on quantum level. Now, we have understood, in part, the astral realm, out-of-body experience. We have understood the far lighter way of experiencing this, okay? But now, how about our subconscious mind as a multi-dimensional hub towards parallel universes? I had this intuition a few years ago for a colleague of mine, and she is a psychotherapist. She's one of the most famous psychotherapists of Milan. Well, she became so after this experience, okay? And why? I was thinking about the electrical universe. I was thinking about how the mind operates on the terms of electricity. And this electricity, where does it come from? These electrical impulses. They are transmitted out through our autonomic nervous system. But these electrical impulses that operate through our autonomic nervous system comes from the subconscious. The basis of creation, okay, the energy foundation of creation is electromagnetism. We don't know it exactly in its very, very, let's say, defined nature. It is a great mystery. We know it on scientific level, okay, the electromagnetic field of the earth, the polarities, blah, 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 okay. But when we start to understand that our body irradiates an electromagnetic field that we like to call the bioelectrical field, that then, what can I say, is determined by our autonomic nervous system, that then is determined through the function of our subconscious mind that makes this bioelectrical field of ours our aura, okay? It has several layers, but it has two main layers. The first layer is a sphere, and it is called our personal Schumann field, like the spherical Schumann field of the Earth. And then it spreads out and it becomes a toroid, like a donut. And this is the main field of our aura, the main electromagnetic field of creation that encases all the memory of the universe, but even our capability to be constantly connected to other dimensional realms, because it is multi-dimensional. I thought, okay, based on this principle, the subconscious mind is principally electrical. It is electromagnetic. Electromagnetism defies time and space. Okay, it is above the limits of time and space. So electromagnetism warps constantly from one dimension to another. So living our everyday life, according to our emotional states, we are constantly warping from one parallel dimension to another without noticing it. We are portals and we don't know it. And these portals are powered up by our emotion. And this portal, the subconscious mind acting as a portal, is powered up and functions according to our emotional body, which is related to our emotions. So if we are on a high vibrational level, in the vibration of joy and peace, okay, we have warped from one parallel dimension to another parallel dimension where we are living and experiencing a world or a reality that is correlated to our state of peace, okay, to our state of joy. And this is, in a certain way, how the law of attraction works, because it is correlated to parallel dimensions. When you attract something in life, that means that on an unconscious level, through your emotions, you have warped to a parallel dimension without noticing it. And in that parallel dimension, you are encountering the related circumstance. And we have our parallel selves. And it's like some sort of constant exchange. like sliding doors, like the movie Sliding Doors. Maybe there's a parallel self of mine, okay, which is in the state of anger, in a parallel universe where there are the vibes of anger, and there's another parallel state of mind, which is in the state of joy, but suddenly that person switches to the state of joy, and that other person, something happens at work and he switches to the state of anger, and suddenly, boom. Of course, we are the same persons, but imagine how we are on parallel level. We are the same persons, but on quantum level, the bizarre thing on quantum level is that we are all infinite mirrors of one person experiencing infinite possibilities and infinite realities at the same time. Anyway, let's go beyond. When I encountered this colleague of mine for the first time, she was in a really, really terrible state. Okay, she had no work. Her health was really in an awful state. Her blood values were totally out of line. She needed vitamins, she needed medicines. She was really young to be in that state as well. She was so skinny. And she had to go around with a collar around her neck every day because she couldn't even sustain the weight of her head, and she had neck pains. And I thought, listen, according to this theory, I explained her briefly this theory, let's do a new type of hypnosis called quantum hypnosis. You're my first subject. Let's see what happens from there. And she told me, how does it work? Well, I explained to her and I told her that let's consciously take you into a state where you can tap into a parallel dimension to encounter the best version of yourself and download the genetical information on electromagnetical level of the best version of yourself to the DNA of who you are in this version, okay? Because our DNA operates according to the electromagnetical field of our subconscious, okay? So she said, yes, let's try it. Okay, she was very happy to try it. And I took her to the very beginning of time and space called the divine singularity, this place of pure light where anything can occur. And through there, she started to see gravity waves of golden light, like the waves of an ocean clashing. And while these gravity waves were clashing, they were exactly behaving like the waves of an ocean, generating bubbles. But these bubbles were spheres of time and space. And encased in these millions and trillions and countless spheres, entire universes. Every single sphere of time and space was an entire universe emerging from these clashing gravity waves. And I thought, and as she was describing me this, and I thought, that is amazing. And I said, okay, now set your intent to encounter the best version of yourself according to what you want to attract in life, according to the success that you want to have in life, health and everything else. Step yourself into the emotion of already being there, already being this way. And she said, yes, okay. And suddenly she started to attract one of these universes, and all the others just disappeared. And she was entering this universe as pure consciousness, gravity wave. She was traveling through the star systems. She saw the parallel solar system. She saw the parallel Earth, and she landed on a parallel country. Parallel Earths may differ, even on geographical level, even landscapes. They can differ, okay? Italy can be somewhere else, and America can be in another place, who knows? Anyway, she landed on this continent, and it was a very sunny place, a tropical island, okay? And of course, she was describing me everything like a hypnosis. What do you feel? The heat, the sun, the fragrance. She was feeling everything. She was touching the sand. She was really there on quantum level, okay? And suddenly, she felt footsteps arriving from behind, and she met her parallel self. And this parallel self of hers wasn't a successful psychotherapist. Careful. It doesn't mean that you're going to meet a successful psychotherapist or a successful lawyer if you're a lawyer. She met a successful arts and graphics designer. Okay? And why? Because it's a question of the electromagnetical characteristics embedded in the DNA that permits a person to reach or attract their goals. Okay? So that person, that parallel self of hers was like a twin sister, but the healthiest version. so tonic. She went to the gym. She looked really great. And she took her by the hand, her astral form by the hand, and she was exploring the world of that parallel self of hers. The parallel self permitted her to visit the home, a nice, big, modern-looking, essential home of an architect, of course, okay, or a graphics designer. She had children. She could try and touch the clothes of her parallel self, wear those clothes as well, because that way she was already absorbing the energy onto her, okay? And that parallel self was giving her advice, and she was sharing that advice to me, okay? Fundamental advice for her work, for her emotional state, what type of attitude she should have, okay? And it was, yes, some sort of unconscious brainstorming going on. Anyway, at the end of the experience, she hugged the parallel self, and heart to heart, the hearts were opening up like a flower, and there were golden and silver gravity waves going on between heart to heart and the exchange of DNA information. Why? Because her parallel self needed psychological knowledge to be a better mother for her children, for an example, okay? Anyway, after the exchange, bang, she was back. How do you feel? She said, Gian Carlo, what did you do to me? What was this experience? But how do you feel? Well, I feel great, but for the moment, I don't feel anything for the moment, but I feel different inside of me. I feel something different around me, as if that the world has changed around me. Well, that's already a result. Let's see what happens from there on. I told her to listen to the recording. That way, the more she listens to it, the more she gets to understand the experience. Anyway, after 4 days, her neck felt much better, and she removed the collar. And she didn't have any need to put the collar around her neck anymore. She was gaining muscular strength around her neck without doing anything. And she started to feel better. She wanted to have a checkup at the hospital for curiosity. The doctors gave her a checkup, and the doctor that was following her noticed that her blood values were perfect. And he was quite amazed, and he thought, that's really good. What did you do? What happened to you? And she didn't say anything. She just said, I don't know. I just feel better. That's great news then. Stop taking those medicines. And she stopped taking those medicines. And a month later, when it was her turn to come back for a second session, she was a totally transformed, different person. She looked so different. Her friends couldn't recognize her anymore. Her physicality has changed. She was tonic. She looked like an attractive woman. She looked really great. And she told me as well that her job was flying. She was gaining success in her career. And now she's one of the most famous psychotherapists and hardworking psychotherapists of Milan. She did the experiment for a second time because she wanted to learn tango, and she was very rigid and she couldn't become a good tango student. So as a game, we did it again and we played on it a bit. And now she has become a tango teacher as well. So this is an example of how we are interconnected with parallel dimensions, where there's a parallel self of us mirroring us, but how we can gain the power as well to consciously go into that state and interact with the desired parallel version of ourselves according to what we want to reach in our life. And this is a way to understand self-mastery and how to even master our destiny and how to understand on a higher level how the law of attraction works, okay? And now, after all this chitter-chatter, okay, let's start to go into a meditative experience, okay? A meditative experience that regards the astral projection of the consciousness. We are going to go into theta state. We're going to work with a geometrical structure that I like to call the Merkaba, okay? What is the Merkaba, if anyone doesn't know? Merkaba means vehicle of light. We have it all around us when we dream, when we go into astral level, when we journey. It is just there around us operating, but we're not aware of it, okay? And it is, let's say, a light vehicle that permits us to consciously warp time and space and to be wherever we desire to be, in any part of the world or in any part of the universe, okay, through the gravity waves of our brain, which are the gravity waves of our consciousness, okay? We are going to experiment this. And how? I'm going to guide you into theta state. We're going to imagine this structure in the very center of our higher heart chakra. We're going to expand it all around, and time and space will start to warp all around us. It will spin, it will become a sphere. And it will be like seeing the universe collapsing all around you, okay? And then you are in the mental state, okay, to project your consciousness wherever you wish to be. You just focus on a star. You focus on the moon. Wherever you wish to be, you're there. Bang, teleported, okay? And what is the shape of this geometrical structure? It is very particular, okay? Some may call it even the flower of life. Some may call it the Metatron cube, okay? Some may call it the tesseract, okay, like in the movies of the superheroes. But even on scientific terms, it is called the tesseract, okay? But this even defines the very geometrical structure of our subconscious, which is a tesseract, the geometrical structure of infinite possibilities, okay? And it can also be called, on scientific terms, the vector equilibrium. Vector equilibrium, on metaphysical terms, means the divine order of the universe, okay? That astral, holographical divine order that keeps up the balance on all existential levels of life throughout all the dimensions. And it looks even like the Star of David. The Hebrews, okay, the Israeli people, use this symbol as their flag, okay? And here it is. Now, it is a three-sided pyramid pointing upwards, incastenated in a three-sided pyramid pointing downwards. The three-sided pyramid pointing upwards represents the masculine output of the electromagnetical energy of the cosmos, of existence. The pyramid pointing downwards represents the feminine electromagnetical output of the electromagnetical field of the cosmos. Plus, minus. It is the polarity of the cosmos, okay? And the part pointing upwards spins clockwise, and the part pointing downwards spins anti-clockwise, and it spins beyond the speed of light. If you can't imagine this, okay, it doesn't matter, feel it. Just envision it even as a simple crystal turning clockwise, okay? Because it's just a question of total trust. This is divine technology. It doesn't fail, okay? It is divine astral technology. So you can feel it, you can imagine it as a simple crystal turning, and it becomes a sphere, and then you expand it all around, okay? So are we ready for this experience before saying goodbye? Okay, it will be a 20 minutes meditative experience. Are you all ready for it? Yes? Very, very good. Let's start. One advice: if you want to put a relaxing music as a background, or even the sound of the ocean, the white noise, you can do so, okay? I'm not going to put music from here because you will hear it very badly. It may become a nuisance for the ears. So if you have some relaxing music right now at home, even classical music, for an example, okay? Meditative music, just put it, and I'll wait for a while until you put your favorite relaxing music, okay? Because music helps to calm down the mind. Or even the white music of nature, the music of the woods as well, or the wind, the ocean. Okay, now that you have put your nice relaxing music, even if you are without music, it doesn't matter the same. It doesn't matter, just follow my voice, just follow my guidance, okay? Ideal is to sit down in this meditation, okay? You can even lie down, but ideal is to sit down, whether on a chair or you can even put yourself into the lotus position, okay? If you are comfortable in the lotus position, because not everyone is comfortable seated in the lotus position. So you can be seated on the chair. You can put yourself in the lotus position or just lay down, okay? And while you are in your comfortable position, just keep your moment. Where you will close your eyes only when I tell you to do so. Most important now is setting the intent to relax every single muscle of your body. Keeping your eyes open for the moment. And looking in front of you as if you are imagining the horizon of an ocean with your eyes opened. Feel your legs relaxed. Feel your arms relaxed, your shoulders, your facial muscles. And now that you are relaxed with your body, keeping your eyes open, I am going to count until 5. Why? Because 5 is the number of divine connection. 5 is the number of the Great Spirit that I like to call divine singularity. And each time that I count, you will profoundly inhale and exhale. Why? Because it's very important to bring oxygen in your blood cells that then goes to the brain, releasing ozone that then facilitates the brain to calm down its activity. And only when you hear me say 5, you will take one last deep breath and breathe out and close your eyes and relax. 1, inhale profoundly and exhale. 2, inhale profoundly and exhale. 3, inhale profoundly and exhale. 4, inhale profoundly and exhale. 5, take one last deep breath. Inhale profoundly. Exhale. And close your eyes and relax now. Just relax. And let yourself go in total trust. Maintaining a calm and gentle breathing. Trust my guidance. Listen to my voice guiding you, like the voice of a spirit that comes from the breeze of a distant wind of another world. caressing your heart, caressing your mind, while you are breathing in a calm and gentle way. And feel each calm and gentle breathing, like the gentle breeze of the wind of springtime or autumn, spiraling into your mind, gently vortexing and spiraling throughout your brain, throughout your neurons which are very similar to the branches of a tree, where the breeze of the wind are caressing all those branches, caressing your mind. And feel yourself calming yourself and feeling more and more relaxed with each breath that you take, where all the mental activities of your brain are slowing down. And the breeze of this mystical wind generated through your breath, vortexing all around your neurons like the breeze of the wind vortexing around the branches of the tree, are blowing away all your thoughts, worries and tension that are abandoning all your neurons like smoke rising through your crown chakra towards the sky and dissolving in the sky. Now you are feeling more and more relaxed, in total trust. And you're going deeper and deeper within yourself now. Deeper and deeper into your unconscious. At this point, why not imagine yourself standing on top of the tallest of all mountains? Or you can imagine yourself even in your favorite place in nature, under a night sky, feeling the fragrance of this place, which is making you feel more and more relaxed. And focus your attention towards an area of your body between the throat chakra and the lower heart chakra, which is the thymus. This is the most mysterious part of yourself. It is called the higher heart chakra, but let's call it even the Merkaba. It is the divine portal to the deepest reaches of your soul. And envision it like a three-sided crystal pointing upwards, incastenated in a three-sided crystal pointing downwards, irradiating rainbow colors. And in the very center, a bright white star. This bright white light called the Spirit, the light of love and peace, or divine singularity. If you can't envision this geometrical structure, just imagine a crystal like a diamond of your favorite shape, encasing a bright white star, spinning gently clockwise. And if you can't envision neither this, feel it. Because the most important thing is feeling in all meditative experiences. And now, observe it for a while, contemplate its form, its beauty. the very multidimensional structure of time and space. And now that you are acquainted with it, set the intent to enlarge it all around you. Start to feel it and see it becoming larger and larger, larger and larger, bigger and bigger. And the bright white light is expanding as well to go with the structure. And now it's going beyond the boundaries of your body. It's encasing you. And now you are in this magical, beautiful, multidimensional, etherical vehicle of light. And your body is shining the bright white light of love and peace. Your body has become a body of bright white light, while rainbow colors from the Merkaba are all around you. Feel it. Get acquainted. This is your multidimensional self on astral level. Now you are ready to undergo the magical journey of the projection of your consciousness towards wherever you desire to be or to go as gravity wave. And to envision that place as well and how. Let's activate the vehicle together. May the journey begin. Now the Merkaba all around you is starting to accelerate its spin, the pyramid upwards and the pyramid downwards in its correspective directions. And the spin is becoming faster and faster, faster and faster, faster and faster. And you're starting to feel all around you the structure of time and space in your room, where you are, distorting itself. This is the gravitational lens effect of the Merkaba, distorting time and space all around you. And the spin is becoming faster and faster, faster and faster, faster and faster, until it goes beyond the speed of light, assuming the shape of a sphere, distorting time and space all around you. And through the shape of that magical sphere, you see star systems, galaxies, nebulae opening up all around you. You are in this multi-dimensional bubble of distorted time and space. You are warping time and space now. And all around you, infinite worlds and star systems and galaxies, all around you and in front of you, moving and circling all around. Now you are in your divine power to teleport your consciousness through your mind to anywhere of these places, or feel it. This is your personal experience. It's a journey into the deepest reaches of your soul, because as you live in the cosmos lives within you. And now you are discovering the cosmos as your soul. It is time to explore. Feel attracted towards wherever you feel to go. A star that may be more shinier than other stars. It's a place calling you, something to understand. And as soon as you focus towards any part of the sphere, showing all the stars and galaxies vortexing around, gently vortexing, distorted through time and space, in a flash of bright white light, you're traveling through a vortex where all the universe is opening up in front of you. And you are approaching this place, getting closer and closer, closer and closer, closer and closer. I'm going to count from 5 till 1, and you will be there. 5, you're getting closer and closer. 4, closer and closer. 3, closer and closer. 2, you're nearly there. 1, a bright flash of light, and you are there. My voice is a distant echo. It gets weaker and weaker. This is your experience. Now you are the guide of yourself. Follow your instincts. This is your inner master. This is to hone your intuitive skills that then becomes wisdom. My voice disappears like an echo. Then journey into this part of yourself now, wherever you are. And now, wherever you are, you may even encounter other beings, you may not. It's all an interesting experience. It's a way of learning. These beings are archetypes of your unconscious self as well. The universe, the multiverse, is a great master mirror. And this is a way to understand ourselves. Now, this is just a little step, and it's time to take you back into your here and now, wherever you are. Suddenly, a flash of light appears, and you're going through that magical cosmic vortex, defying time and space. where the magical vortex then becomes a gravitational sphere all around you, bending time and space all around you, where the image of the cosmos all disappears, and now you see your room all around you, distorted through this gravitational sphere that starts to slow down its rotation, assuming the geometrical form of the Merkaba, gently spinning in its correspective directions. Where you feel yourself back in your room, but you feel so connected at the same time, energetically so elevated in your consciousness. Your cells are singing the chant of peace and love. The heart of your cells are irradiating that beautiful bright white light. Your aura is irradiating the rainbow colors of the Merkaba. That gently just evaporates all around you in its geometrical form. But you have it within you as well. It's always there. Now start to move the fingers of your hands. Start to move the toes of your feet. Start to feel your breathing and start to take deep breaths while moving the fingers of your hands and the toes of your feet. And now I'm going to count until 3, because 3 is the number to manifest. And each time that I count, you will profoundly inhale and exhale. And only at my 3, you may open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. So 1, inhale profoundly and exhale. 2, inhale profoundly and exhale. And 3, take one last deep breath, inhale profoundly and exhale. And open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. The most beautiful smile that you can ever imagine to manifest. Smiling at yourself, smiling at the world, which is smiling back on you, the universe. And welcome back in this light, in this beautiful energy. Just take your time. Remain for at least 1 minute in silence to give yourself the time to process this experience and to rebalance your energy into your actual reality. Very good. Now, it is highly recommended to drink a glass of water or to have something warm to drink as well, okay? And thank you very much for attending this seminar, okay, on out-of-body experience, the projection, the astral projection of the consciousness and the parallel dimensions of the consciousness. I'm very happy to see people here. And we will see each other for the next time, for the next appointment, okay? And here it's evening, so for who's listening to me from Italy, good evening and buon appetito, because it's nearly dinner time, okay? Or lunch. Do we say lunch or dinner in English? I don't remember. I keep mixing up lunch with dinner. Anyway, and for who's listening to me from other parts of the world, well, I wish you a beautiful night or a beautiful day, and thank you very much, okay?